It was just another cold Tuesday morning when Mark pinned a simple paper sign on his front door that read, "Room for rent." He didn't think much of it. He was a single dad trying to make ends meet, juggling 2 jobs, raising his 10-year-old daughter, Emma, and still grieving the loss of his wife 2 years earlier. Life had been hard, and the bills never stopped coming. Renting out that spare room felt like his only choice, a small step toward keeping their home. That same afternoon, a young woman knocked on the door. She was polite, well-dressed, and carried herself with quiet confidence. Her name was Sophie. She said she was a college student new to the area, looking for a safe place to stay near campus. Mark welcomed her inside, offered her coffee, and showed her the small, tidy room at the end of the hallway. Something about Sophie seemed different, kind, humble, and genuinely warm. But what Mark didn't know was that Sophie wasn't just another student. She was the daughter of one of the most powerful billionaires in the country, and she was hiding that part of her life. Before we dive deeper into this story of kindness, love, and unexpected connections, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Kindness Lights. Don't forget to like this video if it warms your heart, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us keep spreading stories that remind the world how beautiful compassion can be. From the very first week, Sophie fit perfectly into Mark and Emma's small family. She helped cook dinner, cleaned up without being asked, and often helped Emma with her homework. She never acted like she was above anyone. In fact, she treated Mark's modest home as if it were her own. One rainy evening, as thunder rolled across the sky, Mark returned home exhausted from his late shift at the warehouse. He expected to find Emma asleep, but instead, he walked in to see Sophie and Emma sitting on the living room floor, surrounded by construction paper, crayons, and glue sticks. They were making homemade thank you cards for Mark. When they noticed him, Emma jumped up and ran to him, waving a card that said, "You're the best dad ever." Mark smiled for the first time in days. Sophie just grinned and said softly, "She wanted to surprise you." That night, after Emma went to bed, Mark thanked Sophie. "You didn't have to do all that," he said. "I know," she replied gently, "but sometimes people just need to be reminded they're appreciated." There was something about those words that stuck with Mark. Over the following weeks, Sophie continued to bring light into their home. She'd cook dinner when Mark was late, help with chores, and even fix things around the house that had been broken for months. Emma adored her. Mark was grateful but curious. Who was this young woman who carried so much kindness in her heart? Then, one day, Sophie got a phone call that changed everything. Mark overheard just enough to catch the words "father" and "fund." When Sophie hung up, she looked troubled. Mark, not wanting to pry, simply asked if everything was all right. She hesitated, then said, "Mark, there's something I haven't told you. My family, they're very wealthy. My father owns Voss Holdings." Mark froze. He recognized the name immediately. It was one of the biggest companies in the country. "I didn't mean to hide it," Sophie continued. "I just wanted to experience life like everyone else for a while. I wanted to know what it's like to live simply, to connect with people who are genuine, people like you and Emma." Mark didn't know what to say. He had rented his small spare room to a billionaire's daughter. But looking at her, he didn't see wealth or privilege. He saw kindness, humility, and sincerity. "I don't care who your father is," he said finally. "You've been nothing but good to us. That's what matters." Tears filled Sophie's eyes. It had been a long time since someone saw her for who she was, not for her last name. A few months passed, and life carried on. Sophie became like family. She joined them for Emma's school plays, family dinners, and lazy Sunday mornings filled with pancakes and laughter. But as her final semester ended, Sophie had to move closer to her father's corporate offices for an internship. Saying goodbye was harder than anyone expected. Before leaving, she handed Mark an envelope. Inside was a simple note that read, "You showed me what real kindness looks like. You reminded me that the greatest wealth is found in love, not money. Thank you for being my family when I needed one." There was also a check, a large one. Enough to pay off Mark's mortgage and cover Emma's future college expenses. Mark tried to refuse, but Sophie smiled through tears and said, "It's not charity, Mark. It's gratitude. You opened your home to a stranger. You gave me a place where kindness lived every day. Let me do this." Years later, Mark would often tell the story of Sophie to Emma and anyone who'd listen. Not as a tale about wealth or surprise fortunes, but as a reminder that kindness can change lives, often in ways we never expect. Emma grew up inspired by that experience. She started a small nonprofit that provided housing for struggling single parents. The first name on the donor list? Sophie Vasta. In the end, it wasn't money that connected them, it was humanity. A single act of kindness that bloomed into lifelong friendship, gratitude, and hope. As the story of Mark and Sophie reminds us, you never know the battles people are fighting or the hearts you might touch by simply being kind. So, if this story warmed your heart today, remember to like this video, subscribe to Kindness Lights, and share it with someone who believes in the power of compassion, because kindness truly has the power to change everything.